In 1900, Betty Tyler and her sister Molly took in 4 boys that a relative had entrusted to them. They moved back into their childhood farmhouse and started an orphanage. When she was nearing the end of her ministry, she was looking for someone to take over the ministry for her, and the Wesleyans were those people. And so in 1922, she entrusted the ministry to the Wesleyans. They bought the property for $5 with the agreement that they would take over the work of the ministry. Historically, Hephzibah was a one-location children's home serving the children of Georgia. And that was a very effective ministry for a lot of years. But when that had to close and we revisioned, that new vision has so much more potential for impact on children all over the U.S. and Canada, because our new mission is to equip and mobilize local Wesleyan churches to transform the lives of vulnerable children. As many local Wesleyan churches as there are throughout the U.S. and Canada, about 1,600, just imagine if every one of those churches had a vibrant ministry serving vulnerable children and families in their community, how that would change families and communities for generations to come.
I retired, and of course my heart was in this place when I heard that things were not going too well. And then finally, of course, come to the conclusion that they would sell. And I'll be honest with you, I was heartbroken. And God just said, Larry, you don't know what the future is. Just let me take care of this. And so now God has taken this place, and the impact that hundreds and thousands of people have had in the past, what they committed to this place is not in vain. God is continuing to use it for His glory with the great ministry we have there, with the church, and with all the money that's set aside at the Wesleyan Church. To me, that's the greatest miracle of all.
My mother was uneducated, could not read, and a series of events happened, and so our pastor approached her about my coming to live at Hephzibah Children's Home. So she signed the papers, and so I became a resident of Hephzibah Children's Home in October of 1971. From the very minute I was here, I never wanted to go back home again. It was tough when I realized that the campus would be closing. For me, but not only just me, but so many others. And after a period of time, I was riding out on this campus, and I actually stopped in front of the Betty Tyler home. And I said, God, you're doing great things on this campus, but you're doing it bigger and in a different way. And that's when I realized that the mission of the Wesleyan Church for Children had not changed, it just looked differently. It's not Hephzibah Children's Home anymore, not physically here, but the ministry and mission is continuing in a different way.
In 1922, when Betty Tyler was nearing the end of her life in her ministry and she handed the property and the ministry of Hephzibah over to the Wesleyans, she wrote in this letter, "The thing most to be afraid of is grieving the Father of the fatherless by proving yourselves unequal to the momentous responsibility He has laid upon you." We feel this is only the beginning of Hephzibah's prosperity. Those words still speak to us today, and we're so excited to see what God continues to do through Hephzibah 62-4 in this next season.